What is up, geeks and geekettes and ghost heads? It's a another episode of the Ghostheads Radio Show. This is the show where we talk about all the news and updates in the Ghostbusters universe. My name is Steady. Joining me as always is the one and only Matty B.
What's up, guys?
Fantastic.
Yeah, I
Good
had
on,
it on.
man.
I'm good. I had it on mute. I was trying to get the crack of the can. I'm trying to make that the signature, but I also have my signature Ghostbusters SATX koozie, and this has been so good. And I hate to be a plugger and a salesman all the time, but I'm making some of these on my own here. I won't have the Kung Fu Saloon, but if you want one of these, let me know, and I'll send you a link.
But shout out, right, to Kung Fu Saloon. If you guys haven't checked it out, we did 2 live streams from the Ghostbusters Speakeasy at the Kung Fu Saloon in San Antonio, Texas. Joe's in the chat. He says he wants
Already,
one. I got one for you. I will get one for you, brother.
honestly, Joe. You're gonna get one for free, bud.
You're getting one. You're getting one,
Yeah,
regardless. You're gonna
you'll
get
get
one.
one. Two is gonna cost you triple, but if you want one, it's free.
There you go. Yes, you haven't checked it out. Check out our streams from the Ghostbusters Day at the Speakeasy. You can find those videos on YouTube, and we also have a TikTok with a little bit of a longer video of the Ghostbusters Speakeasy. Matt, why don't you tell the folks at home about our TikTok page?
Yes. Well, Ted was like, "Hey, you seem like you need something to do." So he calls me out of the blue, and I'm not rhyming on purpose, but this is poetry.
It is.
He said, "Hey, get this TikTok thing going, young man," and I said, "All right." And so I started it, and some of these videos have taken off. Obviously, we need to get some more content, and we need to be a little bit more creative, which we could always get help from you guys. Maybe would you want to see just clips of the show? Would you want to see funny moments? Let us know in the chat of some things that you'd like to see, and I'll go get them. If you want to see something in town and you don't have time to go get it, I'll go get a TikTok of it and send it to you. You'll know where to find it. But it's Countdown City Geeks at TikTok. And definitely give us a follow there. We would really appreciate it. And, I'm just glad to be embarked and, continue my journey with the Geekcast because it's important to the city. I think that they have something that represents them. So any little bit that I can take to be a part of it is fun with me.
And again, for those of you just joining, there's a new TikTok page for us. Find it at Countdown City Geeks. It's probably the best video we've put together of the Speakeasy. Am I right?
Yeah, I think luckily Lauren was really helpful in that. I'm really not good at this type of stuff. I'm good at watching things. Filming is a whole different level. But it's part of her job as a sort of a radio personality to do those things. So she's giving me pointers, but she filmed that video and it's incredible.
Yeah,
Definitely check it out.
it's Ghostbusters Speakeasy is. I don't want to blow it up too much or try and like oversell it, but it's just like unlike anything else that I've been in a part of, really any other bar scene in this town, especially. I think there's one or two other themed bars that I haven't been to yet in town, but the only Ghostbusters speakeasy in the country that we know of for sure, and possibly the world. So if you want to see a video of that, and if you have TikTok, go ahead and find us at Countdown to the Geeks. There's also a compilation of our time spent at the Special Olympics, the regional Special Olympic event. We were actually partying up with all the athletes, all the families. You get to see Matt and his dance moves, brother.
Yeah,
Matty with the sweet dance moves.
literally busting a move. You know what I'm doing? You know what I'm saying?
It was
um,
amazing.
it was great, and it was actually a fun little reminder back to that time because I was going through some stuff kind of personally. And then also I had a trip coming up, so I was a little distracted, and I don't feel like I was in the moment. Honestly, like I enjoyed it, and I was giving the best time that I could. I was on autopilot though. I was just sort of checked out mentally. So going back and looking at those memories was for me almost even a little bit watching it for the first time, even if that sounds bad to say. But when you deal with anxiety, it's one of those things that happens from time to time.
And I was checking on you because I'm gonna start not believing you, and not in a bad way, because I know you kind of you go through the motions, and you do what you need to do mentally, and you need your space at times. But anything that the team can do to help you out, we definitely want you to, because you can't tell from the videos, from the photos,
Oh no,
that
no, no,
you're
no
you're
way, yeah.
dealing with anything, because you're out there giving 110%, shaking every hand, hugging every kid, taking every photo, dancing in 100-degree weather. Like, you can't
Yeah.
tell otherwise,
It's a quiet storm. It's a personal struggle, and so I try not to, because a lot of people are antennas, right? We talk about paranormal, we talk about ghosts, as we talk about these things, but all of us have our own antenna, and I just don't want to push signals that affect someone else's mood. So usually I try to keep it a quiet storm, and just power through, because what are you going to do? Just sit around and cry about it? You got to move on.
I got you, man. Well, we could talk about that all night, or we
Yeah.
can try and talk about some of the things that we wanted to do here
Yeah.
today. And if you're in the chat, what's going on in your world? Are you building a proton pack? Are you coming up with a new flight suit? Are you getting a jump on the wands from these upcoming video games that we are seeing? Because I know somebody's doing that already.
They
Let
got to
us know
be
what
on
you
it.
guys are doing. Yeah, let us know what you guys are doing. But we're gonna take a little bit of a turn off the Ghostbusters highway, and we'll come back to it in just a few minutes. But one day, Joseph, one day. But we want to actually bring up the fact that tomorrow is the season, potentially series finale of the Obi-Wan Kenobi show,
Hmm.
and I'm a huge fan. Matt's a huge fan. We've been talking about it on my podcast with the other Geekcasters, and we've had a great time last week talking about it with fans, as well as Ryan from Alamo City Movie Talk, who is also a massive Star Wars fan. And I know a lot of people have a lot of different opinions about how well or how bad the show is at this moment. But regardless, the finale is still tomorrow. The finale is still tomorrow. And, we're not trying to spoil anything for anybody. But if you are just a fan and you're thinking about what's about to happen tomorrow night, what are your thoughts about it? How do you think this is all going to end? Clearly, there's some threads that canon wise are not able to sort of alter or change in that regard, but we still want to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts on the Kenobi finale? We're going to talk about Ghostbusters in a second, I promise. But this is so exciting for us too, and I'm sure many of you are also thinking about it as well. So let us know what your thoughts are about the finale tomorrow. Richie Barker's in the chat, says my nephew is going to build my proton pack. Sweet.
That's my
Um.
uncle.
Oh,
That's
welcome, Uncle Richie.
yeah,
How's
that's
it
my Uncle
going?
Rich. Yeah.
Awesome. You're gonna build him a proton pack? That's sweet.
Well, I mean, if Spirit ever gets back on the game, Spirit's got to make
Oh,
more
really?
packs. Yeah, I
They're
was gonna.
out?
Yeah, I was gonna just because he would pay for the pack. It's just like just pay for the pack, ship it to my house, and then I'll ship it back to you when it's done. And then, but
Why
Spirit
don't you want
stopped
to
making.
3D print it?
I mean, I would want to 3D print it, but my gosh.
Let's just talk to Joe. We'll talk to Joe. We'll get it printed.
Yeah, well, we can look at that. I just, it would fit him a little bit better. My Uncle Rich is a big guy. Actually, he would actually really enjoy the Countdown City WrestleCast. He had quite the career in the underground wrestling scene through the Appalachian Mountains. He was the Grim Reaper for a
What?
long time, and then he was the Southern Outlaw for some time. He had quite a stint as a semi-professional wrestler.
You've been holding out on us, man. I don't know why you're not bringing this up already. Like,
Well, it's just sometimes it's an onion, right? That's what Shrek taught us. You got to peel back the layers.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna definitely bring that up again after the show's over. You and I are gonna have a
Yeah.
chat. We'll talk to Joe because maybe he can 3D print it, and then we'll get it done that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. Well,
Paxton's always here. Twice the power, twice the know-how. Nice. Just finished a Ben of Kent pack, so now I have 2 full-size packs. Bravo, senor. Bravo.
he's
Well
a
done.
madman. That's what he
He
is.
is a madman.
Yeah,
He's a
Paxton's the man.
madman.
And
In
that's
a
why
few years,
I was
it's gonna
like,
be like a Paxton retail store of just proton pack
yeah,
accessories. That's where
that's why I was
that's
like,
the trajectory he's headed right now.
after a few posts in Franken Gang, I'm like, yeah, yeah, you're gonna have to be an admin. I know you're in this contest, but I'm gonna have to show some bias here, and you're gonna have to be an admin because you're gonna have to answer some of these questions that I am not capable of.
You know what? The more the merrier, right?
Oh, hey, absolutely. Shout out
Joe's in the
South Dakota
chat.
Ghostbusters.
South Dakota, our buddies over there.
Yeah.
Joe says my thoughts are that Matt is gonna owe me $5.
We did make a bet about $5 on the last stream about what would happen. I'm trying to remember what it was now. Joe,
Oh,
put it back in the chat and let us know what the bet was exactly.
if not, we'll go back and we'll watch
Yeah,
we'll go
I'll have
watch
to
the
go back
last
and watch the
episode
other
again.
episode.
Paxton says, "Yeah, I'm a big guy. The full pack is the way to go." Absolutely,
Yeah, Paxton is
absolutely.
a big dude.
Is he really?
Yeah, Paxton's from what I could tell from the pictures, he's about 8 feet tall.
That's a big Twinkie.
Yeah, yeah. So but yeah, well, definitely shout out the South Dakota Ghostbusters. It's almost a sister group at this point. We interact and we collaborate on a lot of different things, and the support you guys show. So anytime you guys want to come down to San Antonio, maybe August 4th through 6th, um, we'll definitely show you a good time.
Not only that, but Pax, we'll talk either offline or something. But Matt and I also want to get chapters on the stream, and we need a goal, right? Something
Yeah,
like 20 chapters in like 5 months or something like that, or like 6 months. Like get 20 different chapters. Just tell us what you're doing. Tell us what you've been doing. Tell us what events you got coming up. There's no reason why we can't sort of bring each of these chapters closer together. We're all doing things for our community because we just have the need to do it. And we're all using this passion and fandom for the franchise and doing so. And it's freaking remarkable. Just the reaction that you get throwing on a flight suit, throwing on a proton pack and just going out into the community. We had, and I can't, we actually probably should start with this first. Our one of our fearless leaders, Rob, and one of our newest recruits, Kevin, who's pretty much one of the nicest guys on the team right now. They went down to Uvalde. Um, it was not this past weekend, but the weekend before. They went down to Uvalde, Texas. There is the Spider-Man of Dallas, Texas, who basically filled up a trailer filled with toys, and he said he kind of reached out to different fan groups and cosplay groups, and he said, "I'm going to Uvalde. Who's coming with me?" And he reached out to us, and Rob took his ecto with him and Kevin, and with some of our friends from San Antonio. They also went down there, and they just met with families. They just met with kids. There was, I don't want to get this wrong, but I'm just gonna say a trailer full of toys of like free donations to kids and families in that area. And so they went down there. We did our Ghostbuster charity event the week before, and then Rob and Kevin and some of our friends who are also big Ghostbusters fans, they just went to Uvalde, and there's some photos we'll share on our Facebook page. Or if not, you can go to the Ghostbusters of SATX page, and you can see some of the photos there. But yeah, shout out to Rob, shout out to Kevin. It was short notice, but that doesn't matter. They They dropped everything and they drove all the way to Uvalde, and it's hard to kind of put into words, kind of the feeling, or just the heaviness of what still lingers on in that community. It's tough. I would be really, really hard to keep it together. Kind of being around the memorial and all that, but yeah, shout out to those guys, right? Because I'm sure it was a great event.
Yeah, and that Kevin does such a good job um, of being bubbly, of a personality enough to not come across as like disingenuous in a very sad time. You know what I mean? Like it takes a certain type of personality to go out there and be just genuinely positive and spread that around. And Kevin's probably the perfect one of the group to be the one to kind of head that on. So we're definitely appreciative to him for that.
Kevin is he's he's a realtor, but I want to say he's our best salesman. He could probably sell anybody like anything. What was that
Hey,
line in
hold on,
Tommy
hold on,
Boy?
hold on, hold on.
He could
I
sell
don't
a
know if we're
ketchup
gonna give him the.
popsicle to a woman in white gloves.
Yeah, we're not gonna give him the title of best salesman yet.
Okay, he's one of our top two. I guess you're the other one.
Yeah, I'm top two, and I'm not two.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah,
Matt and Kevin are best salesmen of the team. Yeah,
yeah,
there you
yeah.
go. Let's see here. Paxton says he's 6'4", 280.
Mhm.
Joe says we're gonna have to go back and watch it. All I know is I'm betting against Matt. Oh, Paxton got the Kenobi. Starting off the Kenobi talk. I feel like Kenobi is getting better, but I think it needs some more work. It needs to be more of a Mandalorian show. You know what? I mean, here's the thing that Kenobi. I kind of talked about it before the show released. Mandalorian was so unique and so not easy. It was so unique in that it was able to explore components of Star Wars that we've never explored before. Mandalorian's live action, we don't really have a lot of going on there. Baby Yoda species, we don't have anything about that before. It was doing so many things that were new that people could get behind, because you can do new things in Star Wars. Most fans, some fans, what some fans don't like is when you alter things that are already known to be true. When you start like really stretching force powers,
Mhm.
stopping a blaster bolt, that's not a stretch. That's freaking cool. Kylo Ren did that back in episode 7. Um, Leia sort of force pulling herself in space onto a ship.
That was a stretch.
That's like right on the fence of like, it's
That was
super
a
cool, but
stretch.
it's also like, but yeah, it's one of those things. It's like right on the fence. So back to Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan is unlike Mandalorian in that they are so tied down to canon. Kenobi's got to survive. Vader's got to survive. Bail Organa's got to survive. Leia, Luke. There's all these characters that they're sort of tied down with. I think it's probably the most difficult Star Wars property to write for because you're just so tied down to canon. And episode 4 is only like 10 years or less after the events of Kenobi. Maybe it's like 9 years, I think. So yeah, really difficult, but Mandalorian, they were lucky that they actually had the ability to kind of explore new areas of Star Wars, the Star Wars universe that nobody really thought of before. So I think in that regard, it was a bit easier for them.
It shows the genius of John Favreau,
Absolutely.
and not his creativeness, his businessman side. He said, "I want to be a part of this franchise, but I don't want the scrutiny that comes with telling a story tied to canon." And but the challenge there for him now shows his creative genius because he had to come up with something compelling enough that also incorporated older characters, but being able to make his own thread of canon was an area of freedom that the writers of Kenobi just do not have. And I think one of the problems with the writing in the show They're all talented writers. When you get hired at this level, and I mean, they're talented writers. There's not one single untalented writer that exists at Lucasfilm. I'm telling you, it doesn't exist. Their problem is trying to be creative while also keeping it so close to these characters. And I guarantee you, the best writers at Lucasfilm do not want to write on those shows.
No,
It's harder for them to get. They're pulling from the bottom of the pile on a show like Kenobi because nobody the better ones, they want to work on Ahsoka, they want to work on Mandalorian, where they can use their great writing skills. It won't be so greatly scrutinized because you can get a little bit more creative with canon, not changing canon, but adding to it. And so I think that's one of the problems we've seen with Kenobi so far is simply that.
let's see. Richie says Matthew could sell ice to an Eskimo. I believe it. Totally
Yeah,
believe it. Joe
facts.
says, I do wish there was going to be more episodes or another chapter or something.
I think there will be.
I don't know. I think they saw how difficult it was and they're like, yeah, we're good. Let's see here. Joe says, look at what happened to Darth Maul. Dies and comes back. I mean, he was literally cut in half. Yeah, those are like the weird things. Darth Maul, I feel like, the dude's an alien. You don't really know how his species, reacts to some sort of like trauma like that. So maybe there's like an element of things that we don't know about where he can survive. All these people being stabbed, Riva was the last one. It's like, are we really gonna see her in the next episode? It's the thing, man. It's just like, you don't want to stretch the audience out too far outside of the realm of possibility. Her being impaled and then surviving for like another episode and maybe doing something about it, like that
Impaled
that might
impaled
be
twice in her lifetime as a human. She was because in the scene
as a kid, right?
that yeah, so she was stabbed once with a lightsaber and survived. This would be the second time.
You're not wrong. And so it's just like it's not like it's impossible, but you kind of have to throw a little bit more details in there about how this all happened. If Vader said something like, I decided to spare your life and keep you around for this day, 'cause he knew this day would come. That would be something like, ooh, okay, now we're back behind this thing. But it's one of those things where it's just like it's almost right there outside of the realm of possibility, where like she's been stabbed twice now, and you're really gonna keep her around some. It is a little
And
odd.
also and also so I mean, just this is just my opinion. I state
Mhm.
things like facts sometimes. That doesn't mean that they are.
Just
Um,
opinions.
but they've tied her. She has something epic has to happen with her character now
You
because
have to.
we know we're going to see her in episode 6. So we know, she obviously just didn't die there. It tailed off. We know she's going to be alive in 6. So there has to be a reason in which that a character has survived these two lightsaber wounds,
Moments, yeah.
has faced Anakin twice now and survived. I don't know. Only Obi-Wan and Luke have ever faced Vader twice and came out on top. So now you've put her in an odd scenario where her turn now has to be very epic. She can only go 100% polar one way or the other. Either she dies in a bloodbath, really trying to finish off Vader, knowing she can't, but just doing it for the cause, or she has to go completely light side in episode 6.
There you
Which
go.
I could also see happening because we started to see that turn in episode 5. We started to see her like maybe I'll work with Kenobi on this. They got over on Vader a little bit. She's clearly has intentions that are not good towards Vader. But we also see that with the Sith. That's how the Sith operate. Don't get me wrong. But they've set her up to where now her ending or her next chapter have to be epic, or the
Has
character is
to.
just yeah. It's just like they've set the bar too high for her being where she's at.
And you don't want a repeat of Halo. If anybody watched Halo,
Yeah,
I
I watched it.
forced myself through that thing. And every single episode, I'm like, man, this rebellion and, Quan and her rebellion better go somewhere. Because if it doesn't, This is going to be a huge mistake. And turns out it didn't go anywhere. That rebellion was nonsense. I'm not talking about Quan the character. I'm talking about the rebellion subplot where like humans were in a civil war, like at odds with the military who was protecting them from an alien invasion. Redunculous. Paxton says, I still feel like the fight scenes could be better still, and the story. I agree. Not all of them are up there. Not all of them are above par. The early ones weren't as good. Um, the training montage between Kenobi and Anakin was fantastic. I loved the hell out of that. I'm glad we finally got that.
Wouldn't it been what it all the only thing that would have made it better to me, and I'm okay with the not de-aging, whatever. I want to see Hayden
Sure.
Christensen, fine, whatever. It
Yeah.
was great. I thought it would have been cool if we could have seen him in the clone armor.
Really?
Yeah, because like during
When? Tell me when.
like just there could have been more than just that one sequence. We could have seen them in different stages of where they are.
Oh, I
You know
got
what I
you.
mean? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So during the Clone Wars, the show, they like Obi-Wan's clone armor is sick. I mean, would have been cool to see.
It's not too
Um,
late, right? It's
yeah,
not too late. It's not too late. Can you imagine how big of a turn it would be in the fandom if like there's a montage of moments from the Clone Wars animated series and we see Ewan and Hayden in some of those scenes. I I'm not saying it's happening. I'm just saying like in Star Wars, like any other franchises, Ghostbusters is a great example, mind you. You want to go for the greatest potential. What is the highest potential for this project, movie, series, whatever? You want to reach your maximum potential. In Ghostbusters Afterlife, the maximum potential was, I don't want to spoil this for anybody who hasn't seen it, but getting the OG team back together and having the honoring the character of Egon Spangler as much as absolutely possible. And so they achieved that. In Star Wars, you want to also have the maximum potential of what could happen. The biggest problem with the sequel trilogy is the biggest thing you should have done was reunited the big three. Carrie Fisher, um, Harrison Ford, and Mark Hamill. You should have
yeah,
done that. Didn't happen. Missed out on that big potential, monumentous moment. And then here we are still talking about the sequel trilogy not being up to standards. But I
yeah.
hope that they do something
It
in
always
this
did.
last episode where like it just blows our minds. A
Yeah.
montage of like moments from the animated series or the animated movie. That would be pretty epic.
Do you know what I have to see? I'm going to share my screen here, Ted.
Uh oh.
This is what I have to see. I haven't seen this yet.
Oh yeah.
We have to see this Obi-Wan pose. We
Okay,
have
I got you.
like so when he's facing off to Vader or whatever it is, this is Obi-Wan's like you're about to get it pose, and he does it. He didn't do it in the original trilogy, but every Obi-Wan iteration we've gotten since then has had this move, and we all know it, and it's awesome when he does it. And I just hope that we can see this before they battle. I want him to be sort of telling him off.
I'm sure it's coming. I am sure it's coming. It is on the way. Paxton says Riva might not be fully human. True. Potential is always there. Joseph says his hatred kept him alive. Probably talking about Darth Maul still.
Mhm.
Paxton is also very surprised they did not kill Riva off in the last episode.
That's the least surprising
Seems
thing to me in the world, but
seems not like Vader. Well, no, he's right that like Vader probably would have done the deed. He's been killing people left and right without like a second thought. The only thing is, and I said it in our Geekcast episode last week, they need somebody to die in the finale, and I think Grand Inquisitor is on the top of the chopping block, and I also think Riva is also sort of chopped liver. Um,
yeah.
she's got to go because Luke can't
She's got to
go,
go
Leia
out,
can't
or
go,
she's got
Vader
to
can't
turn to the
go.
light side. She can only. That's the only way it's going to work.
Even if you turn her to the light side, there's got to be a reason why we haven't seen her now. There's
Hmm.
got to be a big reason why, like, Luke's like the only Jedi left in the universe. We have to get to that point. So they have to explain if they start retconning things. You mean Kenobi and old Anakin? Yes, Kenobi and wrinkled Anakin. It's fine. I don't even care. It was so cool. It was such a cool moment. Anyways, I'll say what my predictions are last time again. I think in some weird way, Kenobi is going to be able to fake his death. And somebody else mentioned this last week. Did you mention this last week?
What? Fake his
Uh,
death?
Fake his death. Yeah.
No, that was you who mentioned that last week.
It was me,
You
but then
said
somebody else I think
the
also said in the chat. I think maybe it was Daniel. Daniel said Kenobi would somehow fake his death. I said that's a great idea. So I'm totally down with that theory, and I think that was Daniel who said it last week. If not, I think Vader's going to spare Kenobi's life for some reason. Fill in the blank. Kenobi does this, fill in the blank. Vader's like, all right, you get a 5 minute head start. I'll catch you when I catch you. I'll see you when I see you. Something like that. That's kind of a definite possibility in my eyes. But those are my only two options. I don't think anything else outside of that happens. I'm not being stubborn. I'm just like, there's nothing else that makes any sense in my head. So I think that's the way it's going to go. What about you, sir?
yeah. So in my head, I don't know. I'm confused a little bit because it's Obi-Wan's duty also right now to kill Anakin, isn't it? I mean, he was supposed to kill Anakin and failed. So the last order
I
he
don't think
got
he
about
can,
Anakin
though.
was to kill him. And if for the sake of the universe, almost even more important than Luke at this particular moment, might be him. He might be supposed to, like, he thinks he might be supposed to kill Vader. I don't think it's going to be like he fakes his death. I think he's going to be trying really freaking hard. He's going to realize he's losing. Anakin's going to get over, or Vader's going to get over aggressive, and he's going to make a weird move. And Obi-Wan might even take take an arm off again. He's mechanical now. It doesn't even matter. But he might just catch him, make him stumble a little bit, and Obi is able to just scurry away because he knows, well, hell, I can't beat him. And he's just like, I got to get out of here.
So you're saying Kenobi's gonna want to kill Vader, but he's not
I,
able to
I,
do
I,
it, right?
I'm going to think he thinks he has to. I mean, who else in the universe in his mind right now, other than Master Yoda, has the ability to do this? And who is more trained to do this? And if he cares at all about the universe, like he
Hmm.
has his entire life, not just the
Yeah.
10 years he's been on Tatooine, of only caring about Luke. Like, I feel like his last order was to kill Anakin. He thought he did. And it, you know what I mean? It's like,
Maybe
I feel
he
like he's going to be coming out a little bit. I think he's going to be swinging.
maybe I mean it's I I have no reason to doubt that whatsoever. I think it's a definite possibility. Maybe he pulls a Luke and he's like about to kill his nephew, and Luke's like, bad idea,
Yeah.
I can't really
Or
do
you
it.
made the point too, I believe, a great point on the last one about the potential of Kenobi force presenting himself like Luke did in The Last Jedi. So Vader thinks that he's fighting Obi-Wan, but he's really not.
I said that as a joke, but yeah,
Yeah, but
I could totally see it. And if you really want to get everybody on social media screaming about Kenobi,
that would be
you make Kenobi force
yeah,
project himself like he's actually fighting Vader, and Vader's like
yeah.
swinging at him, and then he kind of thinks that he's killed him. Maybe like he vanishes, the clothes vanish, but it's
Yes.
just a force projection. And Vader's like, "Oh well, I guess he's gone." Right? It's like nothing else. It's just like how it happened in episode 4. So it's just like, what if he force projects that? That way they could sort of drop the hint that this is a thing that's possible because nobody bought it when it happened in episode 9.
Yeah.
I mean, some people bought it, and that's totally fine. I'm not mad if you liked it. But yeah, if you really want to get everybody hooting hollering about this finale, do that. Kenobi force projecting, fighting Vader, but not really being there, and everybody's gonna lose their minds. Either they love it or they hate it, but everyone's gonna be yelling about it.
But that's
Watch.
quite a jump in the force. Um, if he can't even connect to Qui-Gon, I mean, I think force presenting in that way is probably a more difficult skill. But I mean, who knows? Anything is on the table. I'm hedging my bet on. I'm doing what you're not supposed to do in gambling. I'm betting on who I want to win, and
Betting is fun.
I want Obi-Wan to come out swinging, and I think that he's going to realize he might be the only person left who can.
You're not wrong. He really
Yeah.
is. He's gonna feel like you're right. He's gonna feel like that responsibility is on
hmm
him. I mean,
hmm
he's the one who trained. He's created the monster, but
I think
nobody
that's why
wants to
we
see
got the
Marshall.
montage. So think about
Yeah,
the montage now,
there you
and
go.
now think about their dialogue. And I could totally see it setting up to where Vader's coming in super aggressive. Obi hits him with a quick move. It's like a dice. But then Obi-Wan has to roll out because he's like,
Nah,
I
fam,
might
he's
lose
too
here.
strong.
Because Yoda did. Yoda did the same thing against Palpatine. They put up a great fight. Started to realize, whoa, I can't get this. And he didn't try to just keep fighting him. He rolled out.
You
It's
know
better
what's
if I'm
like
alive.
the thing that the real thing to really think about if you're writing this show, because I don't like to do fan theories. I like to think about what the writers are thinking. And if I'm writing this show in my head, the only thing I'm thinking about is what's going to be satisfying to the fans when they already know how this ends. They already know Kenobi survives. They already know Vader survives. They already know Luke and Leia survive. So, what would possibly be satisfying enough when everybody already knows the outcome? The only thing that comes to mind is somehow Kenobi tricks Vader. It's got to be 100% like foolproof plan that
hmm
there's like no room for second guessing or anything, and that feels like the only thing that's satisfactory. If they go another route and they somehow make it more satisfying of an ending, bravo, you did the impossible, and
Yeah.
go from there. Go
Yeah.
with God. But I don't see another way that would be satisfying, because we're not going to get a winner in this battle. We just won't. We already know that. So it's super tough to get something that's satisfying. You could end it 100 ways, but which of those 100 ways are going to be satisfying enough for the fans? That's the problem. That's the
Yeah.
thing.
But do you know what the best part about it is?
What's that?
We'll know in the morning.
We'll know in a few hours. We'll know in 5 hours.
And I
I'm
can't wait
probably
to talk
staying up
about
to
it
watch
again.
it.
And I don't know if it's going to be a fired up show because I'm emotional enough about the storyline to get fired up if they really ruin this. I don't want to ever hedge my money on Disney because they've disappointed me quite a bit with things
Yeah.
outside of Marvel. But um, oh my gosh, I think they're going to smash it tomorrow. So I think it's going to be a great episode.
Maybe they've been doing a rope a dope the whole time. They're like, "Oh, we're gonna really start off slow and like make the fans think we don't really
In this
have
age,
anything worth." Go ahead.
everybody's a troll these days.
Everybody,
I
everybody's
mean,
a
even the writers
everybody's
of these
a
shows.
absolutely, absolutely. Paxton says she probably neutral, then saves Ben. Talking about Riva. He also says maybe Ben is gonna finish him off, but then remembers that Anakin is supposed to kill the Emperor and knows like is the one that gets him to turn
Luke is the
back.
one, I think is what he meant to
Oh,
say. Luke is the one that gets to turn him back.
there you go.
Um, yeah, I think it's going to get close. I think I agree with you, Pat. I think Ben's going to get him down dead to rights.
Absolutely. Richie in the chat. It's understandable why Vader is pissed off. Totally justified. Hey, you know what? I would be too. Lost my wife and my kids. It's hard to say no, right? And then Paxton also says, I think Ben does somehow fake his death. It's the only thing that makes sense. Again, I'm okay with being wrong. I'm not saying what I'm saying is like gospel. It just feels like the only thing that makes sense. I don't know. You know why? Because what other reason why Vader stopped looking for him? That's my thought
Yeah.
process.
And I think that just pulls back into, and I do agree with the cheapness of this storyline. But Anakin does not want to go back to Tatooine. Vader does not want to go back to Tatooine. He hates
Hell no.
Tatooine.
He
He
hates
hates everything
sand.
about Tatooine. and he doesn't want. I don't even think Tatooine is on his radar. Like, he's blocked that out of his memory so much that that's actually why it was the perfect place to hide Luke, is because of how unlikely it would be that that Vader would go there.
Vader's a big emo kid. He built his castle on the planet where his wife died. Like that's how emo he is right now. He's like in his feelings. He's gonna stay there for many years, and yeah, that's where it's
But
headed.
what better way to pull from the dark side, you know?
Absolutely, you kind of have to.
Yeah.
Awesome, cool. Those are our thoughts on Kenobi. Keep dropping your thoughts in the chat. Let us know how you think tomorrow's finale, or like in a few hours, how the finale is going to go down. Let us know what your thoughts are and your theories are. And yeah, good luck to everybody. Good luck to everybody, and may the force be with you. How about that? All right. We do have some Ghostbusters news. We are the Ghostheads Radio Show. We do have some Ghostbuster news to talk about. We promise. The first of which is we did get some footage from the upcoming Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed. This is the Ectoplast showcase. It's real quick. It's only a minute long, and it's all about some of the playable spirits that you guys can play as. Give me 1 second here. We'll get it set up. Don't know if I should share the audio. Do you want to listen to the audio or no? Not really.
I don't know. That depends. I mean, I don't know if there is audio. Honestly, I haven't seen it yet.
There is. I'll go ahead and show it anyways. All right, here we go. Real quick, this is the 1 minute showcase for Epic, not Epic Games, Ilphonics Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed. Where's my mouse? There we go. Let's blow this up a little bit. Alrighty.
Jordan from Ilphonic, and today I'm excited to give you a quick look at the Ectoplast, one of our ghost types in Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed. Along with the main stat and visual differences of ghost types, within each type there will be several variants which further mix up gameplay with unique abilities. Picking the variant that suits your gameplay is crucial to effectively haunting any building. Winky slams down a massive puddle of sludge to slow and coat anyone caught in its vicinity. If precision and distance is your preference, Pokey's Ecto Torpedo has some serious range and knockback power. Brainy conjures and throws a massive glob which can be held for longer periods, producing more powerful results. Slimer's noxious belch hurls a massive amount of slime forward, coating the victims in a powerful stream. Last but not least, there's the Ectoplast's ultimate ability, Slime Nado. Flailing massive amounts of slime out around you is a great way to get yourself out of numerous sticky situations. I hope you enjoyed this quick look at the Ectoplast ghost type. Keep an eye out for more to be revealed over the coming months as we approach our Q4 launch.
Dude, that looks fucking. That was awesome. That was great.
That's fantastic. I got a question for you now.
Yeah.
Who will be your go-to spirit? And that's
I
also a
don't know.
question for anybody in the chat. Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed.
It looks like they have like a. It looks like they have like a short range, like the splatters, like your shotgun class, and then you have like a mid range, like sort of an assault rifle class, like, you know, good mid range attacks, and then it
Yeah.
looks like there's a good like long distance, that's like a sniper class, and then the blast or whatever, the ecto blast is like being able to toss a flash grenade or a grenade or whatever. So I could see it relating back to a lot of different multiplayer games and kind of fitting these ghosts into classes like that. You know?
I do like the toxic belch from Slimer. That seems really cool. But I also feel like I would probably play as Pokey because I sort of like the stealth, like long distance shots. I don't want these Ghostbusters to know where I'm coming from. So like real quick shot, what hit me, and turn, and I'm already gone, or I'm already possessing, like, I don't know, a
Yeah.
bar stool or something. So long distance range, try and keep distance between me and whatever team's hunting me. I think that would be my way to go.
Yeah, and
Let's see.
but you can play however, because like, um, it's like it's one of those things. Like I'm not that excited to play as a ghost. I'm gonna be honest with you. Rolling around a Slimer belching, I mean
Just
that's
wait.
cool. I'm very excited to play as a Ghostbuster. Okay, so
I get it.
that's
I get it. I think intentionally it's going to be more fun to play as a spirit.
yeah, maybe.
I think it's
Who
intentional.
knows?
Paxton says that'd be cool if you can become an ultimate spirit, sort of like Gozer or Vigo. Dude, like a boss ghost. That'd be freaking dope. I'd be down to do that. That should be a thing.
Yeah, I hope
I
they have that in the VR version because there's supposed to be like an in-depth campaign. So I'm hoping we're gonna have some big bads in that. I just don't know how you keep a fair multiplayer because then you would have to have an
You know what?
opposite
It's
ultimate
fair because it's
Ghostbuster.
4v1. That's why it's fair.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah, and that's like I think the ghost. It feels like the Ghostbusters team. They're going to be a little bit at a disadvantage, but there's more of them, so that kind of makes up for it. I feel
Mm.
like the ghosts are going to be a little bit OP. Maybe they'll do some updates along the way to kind of even things out and see how people are playing and whatnot. But I've played games like this. My favorite one is Left 4 Dead, where you actually play as zombies
Oh
that are
yeah,
very powerful. They all have their own unique sort of fighting
such a
style
good game.
or primary attacks. And so this feels like that. Each ghost has a different primary attack, and you kind of play to your strengths. That would be pretty dope. If it's kind of going to be like that. I'm excited. I can't wait. I don't know when this is coming out. It needs to hurry up and come out. This
I feel
one,
like it's dropping soon.
it's
It's being
got to.
featured at what was it called? Yeah, Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed should be included in Summer Game Fest,
Okay.
which is a huge festival every year um, for gamers, obviously, and a lot of the big companies are showing off their newer titles, and most of the time they release shortly after. So I would assume that this is not going to be here past the holidays.
Probably
I
not.
assume they want those holiday sales. They want to bundle it with PS5. They're going to want to bundle it with Oculus or whatever it might be.
Speaking of which, I am an Oculus owner, and I do know for a fact that the Ghostbusters VR game is not available for purchase, but it is already in the store. So that kind of feels like we're weeks away from that being released. Do not quote me on that. Do not say the Ghostheads Radio Show said the game's going to be out imminently. I'm just saying it's already in the store, and usually when it's in the store, you're like you're ready to press the activate button, and it's just gonna start
Yeah.
dropping pretty soon.
And I wonder because you would think that these companies don't want to compete against each other with close time frames with the same franchise because you don't want to really compete. But I wonder if Ghost Corps and Sony are kind of making these two different game companies, the two different type of games compete, and if they might release them very close to the same time and see kind of where Sony and Ghost Corp might want to get married to. Hey, you'll do our games. This is what we're thinking for our next few releases. Maybe they're trying to find a studio, and
Yeah,
so they're having them compete because they would have to come out. I would assume they're going to be having to come around at the same time. I mean, they
I
both look like they're ready to go.
they both do feel like that. Um, yes, I mentioned Ghostbusters VR is already in the Oculus sort of store. It's rated E10 for everyone, 10 and up. Co-op multiplayer, single player, sitting, standing, room scale, which is really cool. You get to sort of create a grid within your home, and you're able to sort of move around in the game within that space, and then you're also able to use the actual joystick controllers to also move additionally. Big thing for anyone who doesn't have an Oculus yet. So in the store for Ghostbusters VR, you can actually get a $30 credit for Ghostbusters VR. You can get a $30 credit for this game when you refer a friend to buy MetaQuest 2, and then you and your friend both can get the store credit. Now there's some terms that apply, but I'm letting you know now. If you don't have an Oculus Quest, if you know somebody who does, they can refer you, and then you're going to get $30 towards Ghostbusters VR, and they will also in turn get $30 towards Ghostbusters VR on the
Now look
Quest
who's the
2.
salesman. Look, are you trying to tell me something, Ted? Look who's the salesman now.
It just makes so much sense. I didn't
It
see
does.
that
It makes
before.
a lot of sense.
Yeah. We also had some other news, right? There is a GB concert that's in the works. You want to talk about that while I pull it up?
Yeah. So basically, in 2018, there was a touring show that was called Ghostbusters in Concert, and maybe you've seen, maybe you haven't. It sounds like there's an echo. Is it good now? No,
Say it again?
it's definitely still. There's a crazy echo.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
I don't hear it.
Yeah, I definitely. But either way, there's the Chicago Philharmonic, and they're putting on this. So basically, they put it's a IMAX side screen almost, not really, but it's a huge screen, bigger than a movie theater, and they play the movie in full. And then they also have a live orchestra that plays the score of the music along the way. There's a few surprises along the way, some jump scares for some characters, and other types of things. Good food, good drinks, and it looks like they're looking to bring that back. And the first show is going to be at the Chicago Philharmonic, which is a much nicer orchestra than the one that played for me. And the one that played for me did very good, but the Chicago Philharmonic, to be kind of leading this off, it's a great time. It looks like they're kicking it off around October, so they'll probably have maybe 10 to 15 dates possibly that they can tour around in cities during that kind of spooky season. But it was incredible. If you have a chance to go out there and watch it, it's something that I certainly won't forget. And they did a really good job of incorporating everything Ghostbusters into it, and the just hearing the score live, even when they're just walking around or any of these things is incredible. And they even do like the little high pitched squeals of kind of the paranormal noises. It's pretty cool.
So awesome.
It's so awesome. No, it is. It's really cool.
I would love to see that. Real quick, Richie says good night from Virginia. Entertaining show. Appreciate you, Richie. And I'll make sure that Maddie here gets to working on that proton pack ASAP.
Ted's my boss now.
There you go. Paxton says, "Be cool to allow the slime blower." He's talking about the Ghostbusters game. That would be dope. It would be cool if you could, customize your character or your weapons. If you couldn't customize them, at least have different options, right?
Yeah, I think they might even 2009 it. Remember, like the 2009 game,
That'd
like
be dope.
the proton pack can do everything, but like in this game, it'd be nice if the proton pack didn't do everything, and you can make like loadouts of like how you want it to be. So you could organize your team. Like you have one like person on the slime blower, you have
Yeah.
two people with like other types of things. So as you build your team, everybody can kind of play to their strengths and play a role.
Absolutely. I would be down for that. I would think though, like bonuses, like maybe they have like power up bonuses like around the map, and they give you like damage multipliers or whatever, something like that. I think that could be cool. Will it take it too much out of the realm of the Ghostbusters sort of universe if you start doing stuff like that? If you make it too arcadey, does it really, kind of take away from the experience?
You
I
don't
think
want it
that
to
might
feel
be
like
a
Call of
possibility
Duty.
there. No, you really don't. But it does have
Yeah.
a sort of a Fortnite look and feel to it.
It does for sure. So I think you'll be able to do loadouts and classes. I think I think that they're really, and all the news that I've seen on, especially Ghostbusters news, done a few things. Obviously, Jason Fitzsimmons is he's the go-to guy
The goat.
for news in our world, but he has a lot of stuff that's specifically based around how serious the creators of both of these games are taking character customization and the experience of. I don't think they're going to make too much stock. I think they're going to have a lot of options.
There you go. There you go. We have one last topic for this stream that went longer than I expected, but I'm totally fine with that. I love doing this. Uh, you went downtown in our glorious city.
Hmm.
I would put our downtown up against just about anybody's because there's just so much to do. There's so much history. There's so much
It's incredible.
there's so much character to it. It's I've been to a lot of downtown cities, especially the larger ones. And I would put ours up against anything. But you went downtown this past weekend, and you ran into one of the kind of few. I think there's a handful of the ghost tour businesses because this is
Yeah.
definitely not trying to show anybody up. Definitely one of the most haunted cities probably in the world. We kind of had a major battle a few hundred years ago, and we decided to build a city on top of it. So, as you would imagine, there's a lot of paranormal activity in and around the downtown area. But continue and let everybody know what we are working on.
Yeah, so I was getting my hair cut on Friday, I think it was, and the place that I was at was close to the Riverwalk. So anytime I'm by there, I'm definitely going to go down. And I was just having a couple of drinks and just looking around at some local businesses and thinking of ways that we can incorporate things. And I stumbled across this ghost store, and it was called RGA Ghost Tours. I walked inside and I said, "Hey, I'm here with the San Antonio Ghostbusters. My name is Matthew. I was wondering if the owner was around." And the owner was standing there and was looking at me like he thought I was joking with him. Yeah, he was like, "Oh yeah, yeah,
Some
yeah."
crazy guy in a flight suit outside.
Yeah, well, I did. Luckily, I didn't wear my flight suit, but
Oh,
we have these business cards. So I had these with me. So I was like, no, no, no. So his wife was sitting behind the counter, and she pulled up our social media, and she like looked over at him like, yeah, this is legit. Uh, so we started talking, and we were just going around the store and everything, and just kind of tossing ideas off of each other. Turns out he's a huge Ghostbusters fan. He's even thinking about joining the group. He says, "I'll get a pack tomorrow." Like he's gung ho about the Ghostbusters, obviously being a paranormal fan. So we were just bouncing ideas back and forth, and we think we want to collaborate with them on maybe doing a video shoot. Maybe they'll take us on their ghost tour. Excuse me, I might have to sneeze. No, I fought it off. I fought it because I'm a champion. But
like a boss.
yeah, we might do some sort of a collaboration in that sense. If you'd like to see something like that, shoot us some ideas of some places you might know downtown. Anything that you could come up with, you'd like to see on kind of like a miniature kind of fan film, maybe 5 to 10 minutes long of us taking this ghost tour. And it turns out that he's involved in a lot of parades as well, so we're looking to collaborate with them potentially. I'd like to get him on the show eventually, but he just we just sort of met. So, but it's just something that SATX might have in the work. And then I'm also trying to work on getting us potentially down to Six Flags during the Fright Fest. Six Flags Fiesta, Texas, and San Antonio. They do a Fright Fest like most amusement parks do. So it's always a really fun time to be in an amusement park during Halloween. Almost all of them have a themed out sort of time. So trying to just get approval for us to be able to at least get through security, maybe with proton packs on. And even if they don't want to work out an event, if we could just work it out to where they could just let us walk in with the proton packs on, I think we could kind of create our own event there too. So if you're interested in that, I'll try to shoot over some dates of when we might be doing that as well. But always a good time if you hop off a roller coaster. You had a couple beers on a late night in Texas. The air, it's going to be just a beautiful time of year, and just hang out with some Ghostbusters. So I think that'd be a cool environment to get going. So just something that we're kind of working on.
Absolutely, and hopefully our October is a lot cooler than it was last year.
Yeah,
Or
when I moved here on the 20th of last year, and it was still pretty hot.
it was still pretty hot. Hopefully this summer, we're getting the heat out of the way early because it's like in the triple digits every day now, and
Yeah.
it's quite unbearable. But yeah, no, that'd be super dope. Fun story. Did a live stream from the 13th floor, which is one of the biggest, best haunted attractions in the country. It's not my opinion. It's like a voting thing. They've reached the top 10 or top 5 or something like that. Haunted attractions in the country. 13th floor near downtown San Antonio, and I did a live stream from there. And usually, I know my own setup. I had a kind of a different setup back then, but it was not much different than what I do now. It's actually a simple. It was a smaller setup than we did our Ghostbusters Day stream last week, right?
Oh wow,
So
yeah.
it was a smaller setup. Went to 13th floor, plugged everything in, was ready to go. Nothing. Like technical issues like crazy. And if you know someone who's sort of a follower of paranormal, either investigations or just, I don't know, symptoms, one of the things is like electromagnetic magnetic interference or issues with electronic devices. So for like 20 minutes, nothing. Things, my camera wouldn't start, the stream wouldn't start, like nothing was working, and everything I had everything down. It was a very simple setup, and nothing would work. After like 20 minutes, it all started working. What did I do? Change it? Nada. I did nothing different, whatever. But I did about an hour and a half stream with Jen Lee, who's one of cosplayers down in San Antonio. We had a great time, talked to the actors, talked to the owner of the establishment. It was an amazing stream. We should go back there as
Hmm.
Ghostbusters. They would
That'd be
love
great.
it. I know the team would love it. There's such great people down there.
I
They
want to
take
make
it
sure.
seriously. It is an art form. They've taken haunted attractions to an art form, and they do it so well.
It'd be so great to do a live stream on Halloween at a place like that, like late at night, fully dressed as Ghostbusters, just talking the regular news of the day from one of the most haunted places
Yeah,
on the planet. I think that would be a pretty epic show if
no
we were to
doubt,
pull
no
something
doubt.
like that off.
Paxton says, going back to the video game, like in Friday the 13th, you get stuff that you can in real life to fix things, so maybe they can upgrade with your upgrades in the map. So I think one of the video game components, not to go too far back, but I think the whole point of being a spirit is you're trying to damage or haunt the map that you're in. You damage enough, if you like either slime or destroy enough things, then you win. Then it's like they can't save anything, so you win the game, and the Ghostbusters team loses. You're not trying to kill the team. I don't think that's
Hmm.
part of the game. I think you're just trying to haunt the place enough to where like there's no way of recovering it, so you win the game. So yeah, if you're a ghost and you're trying to, damage things, but the team is also trying to clean up things. If there's like ectoplasm or somewhere in the walls, like maybe part of it is they're trying to eliminate that to kind of recover the damage that's been done. That would be cool because now it's not just a 4v1, but it's also a race against time. Like who can, prevent the sinking ship, as a metaphor, basically. That would be pretty cool. And so if the Ghostbusters team has a ways of fixing, recovering the damage that's been done to the facility around you, yeah, I could totally see that. That would be a really cool component.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
Cool.
We good?
We're good. Yeah. Great episode. Thanks everybody for joining. Thanks to Paxton, Richie, Joe. Who else is in here? If I
Me a
miss
lot.
you, I apologize.
Yeah. There's a
Dun,
lot of
dun, dun, dun,
comments.
dun. There sure
We should
are.
be
I'm
good.
trying to go through all of them. Appreciate everybody for the comments. You guys are awesome, and we can't wait for Kenobi to drop in just a few hours. We are 4 hours away now from the finale of Kenobi. Check back later this week, and we will do our in-depth review of the finale, and also follow not only our page on YouTube or Facebook, also our TikTok page at
Yes.
Countdown City Geeks. And also follow the Ghostbusters of SATX so that you can come and see us the next time we do a public event or a charity benefit. We want to see you guys there. We want to help out the community absolutely as much as possible. And yeah, we would love for you guys to hang out with us, take some photos, and just celebrate what it means to be a Ghostbuster. How about that?
Yeah. Yeah, that all sounds really, really good. But definitely, please help us with our TikTok. Come on. Everybody hop on if you're watching this and
Hop on.
just hit that follow button. And there's great things in store.
If you want to see Matthew's dancing skills, you'll
That's
go to
true.
TikTok right now and find us at Countdown City Geeks. For the
That's a
Ghostheads
fact.
Radio Show, my name is Steady. Joining me as always is one and only Matty B.
Crust another can, boys. Great show.
Take it easy and